What is it he's really selling you? Is it really
He's selling you what Siri did 10 years ago at a higher level.
I'd argue he's not selling the cure to cancer. He's selling you a bottle of poison. We just don't recognize it really well. I love how we're all just bringing Dyson vacuums into the frame.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Season 4 finale of TIFP. And so as always, I'm Teddy Macker from the iTunes Fanboy.
I am TC Tech.
And my name is Alpha DeWolf.
And as always, we are excited to get started with this episode. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the first topic, which is that this is the last episode of Season 4, and whatever our next episode is, which I should be here for the next episode, but in case you don't record next week, then I won't be here for that episode.
Well, that reminds me.
Otherwise, I should.
Yeah, if you're not here next week, then I won't be here next week, and we're gonna end up having to cancel. So, because I'm gonna be in Milwaukee next week.
It would be. Yeah, next week I'll be here, but the week after that I'm going to be in Europe, so I obviously can't. I obviously will not be able to film then.
Right.
Yeah, time zones. It'll be weird. You're an hour behind us right now, and yet you're gonna be how many hours ahead of us in a couple weeks?
6.
Wow.
6 or 5, depending, because I'm gonna be in both England and France.
Right.
So.
But that's more information for next week if we do record next. Tabby and I record next week. I forgot to mention this in the episode, but the first 2 episodes of Season 5 will not be published through Spreaker, which is what I use to distribute most of the audio version of my podcast. So you'll either have to watch the video version or else tune into the audio version by YouTube. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I will be in Europe when the episodes are being edited and published. As a result, I'm giving Alpha permission to upload to my podcast channel, and because I can't give him permission to upload to my Spreaker without giving him the password to my account, which I'm not comfortable with, as a result, I won't be able to distribute it through Spreaker. So without further ado, let's go and let's talk about, well, this topic also involves my European trip, but this is a side effect of not updating my phone.
Finally caught up to you.
I think I heard a little bit about this.
So, for context, my iPhone 14 Pro runs iOS 16. Let me actually go to settings, general, and about. And my iPhone 14 Pro runs iOS 16.0.2. Now, I don't update I refrain from updating my phones because I prefer, not only are they rare and more special in their original versions, but also they're worth more money, and I don't like the new features in newer iOS versions.
Yeah, I love the new feature in iOS 18 called No Phone Calls.
Exactly. That's one reason why I didn't update my phone. Because I'm doing it through a school trip. One as a result, it's like a very controlling thing. It can more than one of those controlling trips. So as a result, I'm technically supposed to have the Uber app on my phone in case I need to get Ubers going, but the Uber app requires iOS 16.2 or later, and I'm on a version older than that, so therefore I couldn't install the Uber app. Now, there's 3 reasons why I didn't see my phone updated iOS 18 for that. Number 1, this is the biggest reason. I'll be in a tour group, and they want us to stay together anyway, so I'm sure somebody else in my tour group will likely have the Uber app without any issues. Number 2, this phone is about to retire anyway, and it runs iOS 16. I would like to keep it on that way, because I even considered updating this to iOS 18, trying to look for another iPhone 14 Pro on iOS 16, but the only one I can find on eBay right now, the lowest version I can find on eBay is iOS 17, so So I decided not to do that anyway, since I figured I couldn't get one as low as 16.0.2. And number 3, I'm not going to have this. I don't want to have these iOS 18 bugs.
Yeah, that's a good one. That, and I mean, do you
So-
really have to use Uber?
But the point is, I'm going to be in places in Europe with a lot of public transportation anyway, so it's not like... So I really don't need the Uber app. And, well, I mean, Lyft technically is coming to Europe because they acquired Free Now, which is a European public transportation service. But once again, like, I'll be in places with lots of public transportation. It's not like I'm going to be in the United States.
That,
so.
and unlike the United States, the cities there are much more walkable than ours. If all else fails.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I actually went down to my local Fleet Feet and got fitted for some Hokas. So, which Hokas are like some of the best. They're some of the best tennis shoes you can get on the market right now.
Well, that's pretty good, I'd say.
Yes, it is. But do you have anything more to say about my European trip, or shall I move, or failing to install the Uber app, or shall I move on to our next topic?
Not really much for me to say.
Yeah, I don't have
I've
much
never
else
been
either.
to Europe.
Alright, so this is actually kind of a fascinating topic that no one is talking about, but Apple acquired the video game studio behind Sneaky Sasquatch.
Huh.
Interesting. Though, I do have a feeling that it's not going to pan out to anything.
No, I don't think it'll pan out to anything either. Since, I mean, Apple already kind of makes gaming hardware to begin with, so it's not like it's gonna be anything that big. It's just that now the studio is owned by Apple, but still kind of interesting nonetheless. Do you have anything more to say about this, or shall I move on to this next interesting topic?
What's next?
Ooh.
Okay, so this is. Let me go to the cabinet because I haven't stood up that much today, and I need to stand more. But who was one of the primary designers of the original Apple Watch?
Not sure.
Or who was Apple's main designer at that time? I should say.
Forgot his name.
Johnny Ive.
Johnny Ive.
Yes, and so obviously Johnny Ive is pretty passionate about the Apple Watch, but there was one little detail that Drew from Taylor's with Tech caught in his latest YouTube video that I literally just watched before recording this episode about how Johnny Ive, when in his OpenAI promotional video, wasn't wearing an Apple Watch, or he's not wearing an Apple Watch anymore.
Oh, that's weird. Wonder why.
Yeah. I mean, it's because he no longer works at Apple, but this is starting to make me wonder if OpenAI is going to release a watch with Johnny Ive.
I mean, I kind of doubt that, but I'm kind of thinking maybe he's just done with Apple.
I mean, we all know that something. I mean, because all the profligate Apple executives, a lot of them are gone now. It makes you wonder, like they left the company. It makes you wonder, like there's, especially with all the dumb decisions Apple's making. It makes you wonder what's going on inside Apple. If there's, we know there's a lot of unrest in Apple's headquarters, but this is now starting to make me seem like something's going wrong with Apple.
Right.
I kind of feel bad for Johnny Ive because all of his design skills are especially going to be going to waste knowing what it's going towards.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody says that Johnny Ive is passionate about this product, but he was paid by OpenAI $6.5 billion.
You know, Drew had uploaded a video today making a good point that, and you know, I had the same thought too. I just hadn't made a video about it. It's just they're working on creating effectively another humane AI pin or Rabbit R1. And it's like, guys, have we not learned our lesson from the last time around?
Exactly. Apparently OpenAI hasn't, but yeah.
Just there's a as
I feel
controversial.
like AI is just becoming too prominent.
Yeah.
It has been for a while.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's way too overhyped. It's way too focused on.
I'm actually making my YouTube video tomorrow about that, or it's specifically about how OpenAI is real business, but
I have an analogy for that that you can feel
no.
free to use. I feel like at this point,
I already wrote the script for it.
I feel like at this point, Sam Altman and OpenAI are a con artist where he's trying to sell you the future. The future is this AI thing. But in reality, let's equate this to the cure for cancer. That's how big of a deal he's making this out to be. Let's pretend he's found the cure to cancer because that's how big he's making this AI thing to be. What is it he's really selling you? Is it really
He's selling you what Siri did 10 years ago at a higher level.
I'd argue he's not selling the cure to cancer. He's selling you a bottle of poison. You just don't recognize it.
I could see the logic behind that.
I'm equating it to this because I've seen people who are actually trying to depend on artificial intelligence. I'm watching their actual level of intelligence plummet.
Yeah.
So,
Well, here's the thing to remember. This is gonna sound harsh, but artificial intelligence is not for smart people.
no, it is not. But it's
Well, I
It
feel
is
like if
for
you're
people
using it
with
the right way,
artificial
it is.
intelligence. Yeah, like autocorrect is a form of artificial intelligence technically, and Siri is a form of artificial intelligence. So I mean, there's some forms of artificial intelligence that aren't just for people with artificial intelligence, but like using ChatGPT to, well, especially to write essays, that's for people with that's for people with low self-esteem, I should say.
yeah, especially those who need it to inquire about dating advice. Like
Like your cousin.
Like my cousin. Oh, I'm gonna meme on that for the rest of her life.
Oh yeah, that's pretty. I'm not great with girls, and yeah, I wouldn't even do that.
No. But yeah, you want to use that analogy. Sam Altman's trying to sell you the cure for cancer, but he's really selling you a bottle of poison. Go for it.
I consider that, but shall I move on to our next topic now?
Sure.
So the T-Mobile Starlink beta is officially out now, and what it is, it's free for 90 days right now, and it only works in absolute dead zones with no cell service, and right now all it supports is texting over SMS and iMessage only, and you can only send or text, you can't send images or videos.
Huh.
No RCS?
Nope.
Where's Google on that one?
It's SMS and iMessage only.
Oh,
Wow.
The Google fans are not going to be happy about that.
I didn't even pay attention to that. Or do either of you guys watch Lawn.tv?
Nope.
No. Never
He
heard
did,
of
or
that.
he does reviews on all sorts of gadgets. But he did a video on T-Mobile's. He tested T-Mobile's free trial for that, sir. For the T-Mobile Sports Starlink beta, and so I watched his video on it, and what? I lost my train of thought.
I mean, knowing that that's a
But
thing.
he didn't even mention that it didn't support RCS.
Oh yeah. But yeah, knowing that that's a thing now, especially. I mean, I needed to make an update for a video I made a while ago. The reason I needed to make an update is because we had software updates, but I'm pulling this thing back up to make another Apple CarPlay versus Android Auto video at some point. Though, knowing that apparently the T-Mobile and Starlink thing is now in effect, I don't know. If there's a way I can do like a free trial or something, or get a phone number on this.
Yeah, you can do.
Oh, you still have the Pixel?
You can actually.
Yeah, unfortunately, nobody wants to buy it. So,
Really?
Yeah, so I still have the Pixel.
Wow.
Did you eventually take it off? Did you take down its listing?
Yeah, it's just. I didn't even have it listed at an unreasonable
Well, I guess
price.
you have
Actually, I
an
had it
Android
lower
now.
than the rest of the market, and still nobody wanted it. So.
Oh.
Yep, so I ended up just keeping it.
Yeah, or Lon Sybin from Lon.tv, what he actually did is on his iPhone. I don't know if he has an iPhone 16 Pro or 16 Pro Max, but on his iPhone 16 Pro Max, I think he has Verizon regularly, but he got T-Mobile's free trial to go along with it, and I believe they let him keep his number.
Well, I'd still need a separate number, one in my iPhone, and then one for this to make the comparison, but...
I've used the T-Mobile test drive thing quite a bit, and the Verizon test drive thing on my Pixel 9.
So I might have to give that a shot,
It's
especially
really weird the way
considering...
that it's set up.
So yeah, I might have to give that a shot, considering that A, we don't have T-Mobile towers up here. They have to roam off of AT&T and Verizon. And 2, all I have to do is drive a mile that way, out of service. So...
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be able to get it working.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting concept. I think the Pixel 6 should work with it.
Pixel 6 does.
No, I think... No, wait, for T-Mobile... Wait a second, for T-Mobile's... I think... No, for T-Mobile tests for a satellite connect to Starlink beta, I think that's only the Pixel 9 series.
Oh, for the satellite.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no.
What?
Yeah, so that wouldn't work for...
I don't
Yeah,
think
you
the
can only
Pixel
use it on...
6 Pro has a satellite chip, does it?
GPS?
No, it doesn't. That was before... Well, it doesn't have satellite connectivity for more than that, but yeah, you can't... The T-Mobile Starlink beta only works on, well, the Galaxy S21 and later, the Pixel 9 or later, some Motorola phones, and the iPhone 13 series and later.
That's weird, because this came out around the same time as the S21.
Well, I don't know, but that's just what again, I might not be correct on this, but I'm pretty sure it's just the Pixel 9.
Let me do some research on
Right.
that. Let's first go to these tabs. Pixel 6 Pro support T-Mobile satellite thing.
Yes, it only has... Yep, it'll only work on a Pixel 9 or later.
Dang it. Well, screw that idea then.
So... Do you have anything more to say about this, or shall I move on to our next topic of only 12?
I don't know, I was gonna ask Tabby if he was gonna try this since he uses T-Mobile.
Possibly. But I've already done the Apple.
Are there any?
Hmm?
Oh, are there any absolute dead zones in your area? Because I know you live in kind of an area where that would not. When like, do you know of any absolute dead zones in your area?
There's a few zones where I get like barely any service to the point where like I can only make a call over like 2G, basically. Not
That
2G,
won't-
but still.
That's not gonna work, or that like has to be absolutely no cell service. I'm talking like it has to have as much cell. It has to have as much cell service as like, well, the quiet zone.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, you can still do a T-Mobile test drive, but you just won't be. But you already use T-Mobile though, anyway. So
Yeah, it's not gonna let me do it again on the Pixel, unfortunately.
all right, well. Now shall we move on to our next topic?
Yep, that's all
Sure.
I have to say.
So this isn't quite as stupid as our last topic, which is that's gonna get me on quite a rant, but but this one is just something stupid that Carl Pay of Nothing and formerly OnePlus did, which is that he claims the future of smartphones is to only have one app.
And what is that? An AI app?
I don't know.
I think
Kinda
he's
nonsense
referring
to
to
me,
like
but
the
all
super apps that like WeChat or something like that.
Yeah, he is, which makes sense because I believe Carl Pay is Chinese.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, he is from China, so it makes sense for China because they have a lot. Because in China they use a lot of super apps where everything is just combined into one app. But here in the United States, yeah, that doesn't make sense here because we tend to split all our tasks up into different apps.
That's literally like the point. But also, like, do you think that would ever fly in the U.S. with how they handle antitrust?
I mean, I think that would
No.
maybe fly in the
The
United
App
States.
Store.
I'm not so worried about the U.S. as I am the EU. Because the United States.
There's no way they let this fly.
I mean,
no way.
The EU would not let that fly at all.
You're right, but not even the U.S. There's no way the U.S. would let this fly.
I personally think they should at least I don't think that should be outlawed, but I think ignoring laws is still ignoring all the legality behind just one app. No one wants to have just one app. For that to be too confusing, because you have to divide all the functions out anyway.
It's basically, to me, it doesn't really make sense because it's basically just hiding all your apps inside of one app.
It's basically iTunes
It's basically
all over
Exactly.
again.
creating a big monopoly. It's like, to me, yeah, you're right, but it's like, to me, it's like you're making just this crazy monopoly where, think about it this way. If I'm assuming, I've never used one of these super apps, but I'm assuming that whenever you're in one of the apps, right, the manufacturer or the creator of the first app, the main super app, has basically control over everything that you can do in that app, right? So if they don't want you to download something, they can control what you can and can't do, from what I can tell.
Effectively.
Yeah, at least the reason how Apple managed to get away with it is because they can at least because Apple at least hosts a platform for third-party developers to do that, but to where they can design everything from scratch, but Nothing in this case wouldn't.
Yeah.
The more Carl Pay talks, the less I like him.
Same.
He already pissed me off from
He
the
also-
whole, oh, we're not successful because Apple's hogging all of our success. I called bull on that, and I'm still calling it on that. And I'm also calling bull on this.
Same. Maybe in China it would work, but not here in the United States.
The guy's too full of himself.
Exactly.
He has such a big ego.
And
I think that's why I hate him so much. He's got such a big ego, and he cannot put it down.
A good point.
It's like, for the first time ever,
Exactly.
I wanted to check out Nothing phones because they were finally doing something that didn't look like an iPhone and such, but now with Carl and his behavior, it's like, I have no interest. I don't know how to be interested.
to be fair, is it like, does Tim Cook I mean, Tim Cook doesn't exactly behave either, but Tim Cook's misbehavior is all mostly political stuff.
Well, Tim Cook, he made one of the biggest companies, if not the biggest company in the world. He didn't make Apple, but he's running Apple. He kind of has more of a right to be a little bit more, egotistical than someone like Carl Pei, which, don't get me wrong, Carl Pei is, he's an alright guy, but he's not all that. He's not the second coming of Tim Cook or Steve Jobs.
He hasn't earned the respect that Tim Cook has earned.
It's just a
And
dude.
also, like Tim Cook also doesn't state how the smartphone industry should be run. He doesn't state any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of all CEOs, Tim has
In fact,
one of the
Tim Cook's-
smallest egos out there.
He
Yeah,
just
because
stays
Tim
quiet.
Cook, Tim Cook in all of Apple's marketing, one big push that Tim Cook has made that Steve Jobs did. Well, Steve Jobs is the complete opposite, as we saw in the Get Mac ads. But Tim Cook basically scarcely talks about the Apple's competition now.
Yeah, he lives in his own world.
So that way they make you feel like. So that way they make it market to your products to seem like it's only theirs that exists, which is actually kind of a genius marketing method.
Yeah.
But now obviously, to get Mac ads, that was a different story. But that was also when Steve Jobs was CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure if Steve Jobs remained CEO, they would have done. Steve Jobs probably would have confronted Samsung a lot more.
Yeah, I'm sure if Steve Jobs was still around, actually the advertising, he'd probably point out, if he were to do a snapback ad at Samsung, just imagine all the ammunition Samsung gave them. They no longer have the SD card slot. Wait, hold up, didn't your team used to have that? Well, no, they don't have SD card slot. Hey, what about the headphone jack? Shh, don't mention that. That weird hole cutout thing that you started, huh? Just, they've got so much room to talk about Samsung and how, despite that, they're the phone with everything. Nope, not anymore.
Well, I think Samsung would also be a lot more innovative if Steve Jobs were still a CEO, because Apple would have escaped, like iPhones would still be pretty small today if Steve Jobs were still around.
Well, I'm glad that we've got the big ones, because that's just me.
Yeah. Oh, and there would also be no Apple Music under Steve Jobs. There probably would be AirPods. There'd definitely be no Apple Pencil. That should go without saying.
No, I think it makes sense for the iPad. I think he would have eventually caved having that type of accessory for the iPad.
The first generation Apple Pencil definitely wouldn't have flown with him, though. Maybe the second generation, though.
Well, either way, yeah. Carl Pay, dude, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but shall I go ahead and move on to our next topic now?
What the heck is this?
Yeah.
What?
So, the Dyson Pencil Vac is a skinny vacuum that what it does is it wads the hair it picks up from like animal hair into little I guess circles, kind of like curls, and the circles will just come out of the vacuum as you're cleaning it up.
Okay, I need an image.
Or as you clean the vacuum.
I need an image. I need to know what the heck.
Look it up.
Dyson. Let's see. Pencil vac.
Tabby, what are your thoughts on this?
The Dyson vacuum?
Yeah.
I think Dyson's a really innovative company, and I think that a lot of the stuff that Dyson's doing
they are.
is they're expensive, but honestly, I have one of those really expensive Dyson heaters that I got in 2019.
I thought it was you're talking something like the size of a pencil. What?
No.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, it's this little stick vac. Guess I should have loved the fact that it's a stick vacuum.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. I mean, yeah, we have a Dyson
But
vacuum.
my mom uses one of those big. My mom has one of those big Dyson vacuums that she uses.
We still have ours.
That she insists, and she. Yeah, my mom in fact refuses to get a robot vacuum.
1 minute.
Okay, Alpha, I guess, is going away.
We'll see where what he comes back with.
Oh, wait a second. Maybe he's getting the Dyson.
Getting something, I bet.
I doubt my mom will let me go get my Dyson. Get our Dyson, but.
Oh, this thing's clunky.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah, one of these old things.
I like that.
Oh,
a lot.
What year is it from?
I have no clue. My parents got this before I was born.
Oh, that's an old.
What model is it?
My parents changed out. Hang on a
Is
minute.
DC-04 or something?
Let's see. DC 15.
Oh, DC-15.
Yeah.
So early 2000s, I bet.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we basically had this forever.
Yeah, they're really nice machines. I actually have a very similar model. I think I have the animal version of that, and it is a extremely good machine. Really reliable. Functions really well. Got it from a thrift store, actually.
I love how we're all just bringing Dyson vacuums into the frame.
I mean,
It's a tech podcast, mind you, too. But this is This is an SV29, okay? So I'll put this back out before my mom notices, and then I'll get back. We can look up our computers.
Oops, that cable's loose. Oh yeah, this thing's been abused. Like we got electrical tape on the power cord. I believe one of the joints has seized up on it at some point, so that's probably gonna have to get fixed. But yeah, that's been in the family for like 20, 25 years,
Alpha?
something like that.
What model is yours?
The D15, or excuse me, DC15.
$2005. Okay, mine is an SV15, I believe. 2021. Okay, mine is from 2021, I believe.
Yeah, Dyson is such a weird company, but they make great vacuums.
They also make hair dryers too, and they make weird weird expensive fans / heaters and their weird headphone. I think Dyson is still run by the original founder, though.
Yeah, what a weird company.
Dyson CEO.
Either way,
Hanno Kerner and and the Dyson family used to run it, but now they don't.
Huh.
Yeah, that's how Dyson got their name. But shall I move on to our next our next episode? Or no, not our next episode, our next topic.
Sure.
Yep.
Because that vacuum's a little weird, but all right. So Philips is now letting users 3D print parts of their parts of Philips electronics at home.
So effectively, you can 3D print PCBs or something like that.
Maybe.
Because there's a difference between like 3D printing brackets and 3D printing actual PCB circuits and such.
I think it's just 3D printing brackets and whatnot.
I'm not sure how special that is because all you have to do is just a little reverse engineering and you can make it yourself.
I think they're just offering like Philips is just listing the exact dimensions on their website, so you don't have to go physically try to find them yourself.
I mean, hey, I'm all for right to repair, and this should make it easier. So,
same. Does Tabby have any thoughts on this, or shall I move on to our next interesting topic?
To say about it.
All right. So, this topic shouldn't be that surprising, but BYD outsold Tesla in Europe for the first time.
Oh my goodness. The sad news is I know why.
BYD rips off.
I know why.
Yeah, it's because BYD makes cheaper cars. The problem is that they.
Oh no,
that's
that's not the reason, Teddy. That's not the reason.
Aren't BYDs or isn't it just because BYDs are cheaper though?
There's truth to that, but that's not the ultimate reason.
What's the ultimate reason?
Elon Musk.
Oh, well, I won't get into this, but that might change.
I'm hoping so, but yeah, we thought that the Americans burning down Teslas here were crazy. There's a lot more people with that type of political beliefs in Europe. Lots more. Like you would not believe.
Makes sense, because I mean, Europeans like the European Union for the most part, and we basically mock it for becoming the next monarchy colonization dynasty.
Yeah, so that's really the real reason why Teslas were dropping off. Like, it really is Elon Musk. It's those people there hate him with an even bigger passion than we have, to the point where they're barricading Giga Berlin. They're they've stopped driving. A lot of them stopped driving their Teslas, period, and just either permanently parked them or found someone who was from their perspective dumb enough to buy one. But oh yeah, you thought the Elon hate was bad here. It's a whole different story in Europe. It's real bad there.
Well, that makes sense because I mean there's a lot of Americans that like Elon Musk and also, but this also makes. I'm actually wondering if this is the real reason why Elon Musk is no longer going to be politically, or he's not going to be working for the government now.
He said he wasn't staying in for a long time. He said he was going in to do a job, and the job is done now. So
yeah.
In other words, why would he stay longer? He did what he said he was going to do. He did the job.
Exactly. So, but hopefully him leaving will fix all this issues. But shall I go ahead and move on to a less controversial topic?
Yes, I hope so, because I'm tired of politics. All right, what's this?
that's actually why I cut off one of the topics from the I was going to do on the show. But getting back on topic, Tesla is now offering window tint on cars for $560.
I think this would be more appealing to Tabby, as I don't tint my cars.
Same.
I mean, it's not a horrible price. The tint job is good.
How much did you pay for your tint on your Golf?
Nothing.
Oh.
Yeah, I have a... Yeah, but, would have probably been about the same as, probably a little bit more than what Tesla is asking. Is it, like, full tint, or, like, just windows, or not, or just side windows?
It's just I think it's for all the window. I'm pretty I'll have to look it up for sure, but I think it's for all the windows, and it's obviously to legal levels.
Huh.
Let's see, vehicles. Oh, I was gonna do Model 3, but alright, let's try Model S, see what we get. Let's see. Full subject, no, that BS. Accessories, sunshade, all-weather liners. Okay, it's not there. Do you know which car they're offering it on by chance?
I think it's all.
Okay, well, I'm not finding it for the Model S. Let me try the Model. You know what? Let's try the Model Y, since that's going to be their most popular one. Let's see. Tonnage, FSD, charging. Center console trays. Roof, no. I'm not seeing, at least not from the order page.
Oh, let me go back.
Let me go to shop, vehicle accessories. It's a bunch of Cybertruck stuff.
Verizon is now trending on Twitter. Verizon's apparently down now as a recording, but that's...
Oh, really?
Verizon is?
Kind of... It's trending a little bit on Twitter, but I'm just not...
Well, I hope my friend doesn't get a fire call because she uses Verizon.
Oh, it's... Okay, it's through XPEL, so... It's from through a third party.
XPEL's good stuff.
Yeah. So you're not going to find it on their website.
Yeah, I'm not finding it at all.
It's probably not going to be on their website then. So, okay, so XPEL now tints cars. Well, it's still not bad, though, if you want to get your cars tinted.
Yeah.
You won't believe how much my buddies complain about how my car's not tinted.
Do they call it a fishbowl?
Yeah.
That's what I say about my friends' cars.
What's wrong with no tint? Other than temperatures.
It just looks funny to me after. It just looks funny to me after after seeing my car tinted. When I see just like a clear window, I'm like, oh, that looks like weird now. You know, it looks different than mine.
Which is that's weird because
I don't blame someone for not tinting their car, but like.
Yeah, it's weird because my mom's car is tinted. That's how she bought it. She never put tint on herself, but the Yukon's got tint on it, and that looks funny to me.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, one time back in, I think it was late 2018 when my grandma and I were in the Walmart parking lot, and she was getting pickup, and and she knows how the car next to her pulled up and had, well, I didn't know the official term for it, but she said that the windows were really dark, and she mentioned how to certain levels that can be illegal.
Yeah.
But I don't think that many people in my area get their cars tinted because my friends don't grill me for not tinting my car.
Yeah, I also don't like it because if I'm trying to pull out into an intersection where you got a lane that goes either straight or right, and then you got a left turn lane. You get someone who comes up in the left turn lane with tinted windows, you cannot see traffic coming past them. Because typically I'd have to look through their windows to see that traffic, but now I can't because their windows are tinted and you can't see through them.
Yeah, it's also kind of... Yeah, I just don't like tinting window. I don't like the idea of window tinting just because it makes the windows look darker, and I'm a big sunlight guy, in case you didn't notice.
So, yeah, that's just me. I don't like tint. That's just me. But, oh well.
Shall I move on? Shall I move on to our next topic?
Yeah, this is one I added because it just... the saga is continuing, unfortunately, whether he wants it to or not.
What's going on?
So, Marques Brown... Oh, Alpha can go ahead and explain it, because I actually didn't know much about it until... Or I don't know anything about this. So
I found a tweet on Twitter. Marques Brownlee's Porsche 911 is currently being sold at auction. Not for good reasons.
Do? What did he do?
The image I found, the front left side of the car, looks like it took a pretty big hit on something. Airbags deployed.
Man,
What did Marques Brownlee do? We know he obviously did something stupid.
So Marques hasn't said anything about this yet, but the reason why we know it's his 911, the VIN number. The VIN number is public and it is registered to him.
Man.
Oh. Okay, now I know. I imagine he doesn't want... I imagine he's trying to keep that quiet, because if that got out more, then it would ruin his career.
Yeah, so he's already gotten caught for 96 and a 35. And now the 911 is up for sale at auction because it got in a wreck.
Yeah.
This reminds me of the... Actually, no, I can't get into the story for it's too personal, but yeah, but there's some sports car drivers out there that just drive like they're immortal.
Yeah.
And Marques seems like he's one of those people.
I just had this feeling, the back of my head, that no, he hasn't... He was lucky when everyone caught him, or when he did this. Yeah, nobody was walking out in front of him. But because he got away with it, nobody got hurt. I guess that wasn't enough for him to learn his lesson. Hey, yeah, dude, it really is stupid to be doing a 96 and a 35. And now... I don't know. Is this going to finally teach him, dude, you need to chill on public roads?
Yeah, for the only place where you should be going 96 is on... The only place where you should be doing 96, period, is on a track, really.
Or if that's really what traffic's doing on the freeway. Even
on I-285 or going around Atlanta, that traffic on that, which it flows very fast, it flows at like 90.
Oh, you should try Detroit. You're doing 100 miles an hour. Just saying. But
yeah,
it's easy to find traffic flowing that fast.
Yeah. But at the same time, those roads are at least optimized for high-speed traffic. From what I see on how that car was damaged, that was a head-on.
My question is, honestly, I mean, we have all experienced a lot of really stupid people on the road. What if it wasn't his fault? What if someone really just did something stupid and ended up, messing him up? Because, like,
he would probably talk about that on social media.
What?
He would have probably been he probably would have publicized it a lot more if he probably would have actually been willing to talk about it if it wasn't his fault.
But I would say if it's really this serious, there could be a lawsuit involved, and his lawyer could say, yeah, don't say anything about this on social media until it's over.
That's true.
Because the way that I've seen it, it's like you could accidentally incriminate yourself for something that you didn't do because you posted something, if you have to reply. And also, someone bringing that up in an interview or a, podcast show with him could definitely get him into a position where he would definitely need to say something about it, or he would be pressured into saying something about it where he might not be able to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the weird thing, though, is, this is not his first accident. Back when he had his Model S, what did he call it, Apollo or something? Back when he had his Model S, he had a trucker accidentally merge into him and crushed it in between the...
That.
Yeah. He was immediate to publicize that.
Yeah, but that was also more of a thing where it's like, that happens honestly, pretty often. But, I don't know, something at a head-on collision, that's more serious.
Yeah.
That's true, because there could be possibly, medical bills and such involved in the...
Yeah.
So, he might not be allowed... So, he probably isn't allowed... He might not be allowed to publicize it, and he might be a good driver in this case, but knowing his track record, makes us wonder.
I don't know. Just knowing his history and how he's handled accidents in the past, this is... Something tells me he screwed up on this one. Because I know he is quick to publicize when something's wrong.
Yeah, for the first accident I got into, which was when I backed into that Toyota Tacoma that was parked where it shouldn't have been. I mean, that was partially my fault. I'll give credit for that, because I should have been a lot more careful. I wasn't quite careful enough. I'll give myself credit again. The second car accident was because my mom didn't align her car to be straight to where when you backed out straight it would go straight out of the gate. So I backed my mom's car into the gate, and also because I didn't have the mirrors adjusted and everything. So I also take full responsibility for.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens when we get more news about this. But yeah, I just saw a tweet today that his 911 turned up at auction for, I don't know if it's being parted out or something, but yeah, I saw the photos and oh goodness. Yeah, and airbags were deployed, so that it was not a low speed collision.
Ooh. Well, shall we move on to our next topic, which is, or do you have anything more to say about this, or shall we move on to our next topic, which is going to get me on a big rant, probably?
I mean, I think I've spoken my piece about it, so.
All right.
Take it away, Teddy.
This is the big topic. So I'm sure you've all probably heard this stupid rumor by now, and I'm really, really hoping
I already got my video up on
Apple naming scheme.
Huh?
Is it about the new iOS naming scheme that they're planning?
Yes. So basically, Apple wants to rebrand all our systems being iOS, iPadOS, macOS, watchOS. In this rumor, they want to rebrand it all to be the year, kind of like the car industry. So in this case, it'll be 26 or 2026, which you don't want to know how mad I am for this, because there's nothing wrong with the current iOS Apple system numbering scheme. Like, most people know, hey, next up is iOS 19, next up is iOS 20. Most people know that already, and it's not like, and the numbers of operating systems don't really matter that much anyway.
Yeah.
unless you're on call with Apple support or something. So, and this iOS 26 thing is just going to confuse people so much if they do it, which is why I really hope that this rumor is false and that Apple does not do this, and the next iOS is iOS 19.
Yeah.
iOS, iPadOS, and tvOS are all the same number now anyway.
But then you got watchOS and macOS and visionOS.
Yeah, but they go, first of all, visionOS is now a real operating system. visionOS isn't exactly a popular product, but then watchOS and macOS, but still, the numbers for those aren't too hard to keep track of either.
I think I might prove you wrong if you watched my video. I thought we were on 16.
I did. We're on 8. Even I can remember. I can even remember that. But yeah, it's not. There's nothing wrong with Apple's current numbering scheme. I don't want Apple to change it.
I think it's just gonna be a big change. It's gonna mess with a lot of people.
Well, overall, we're getting a redesign this year, which, oh, wow, everybody asked for that.
I know. iOS 18 was already sort of a redesign.
I'm kind of indifferent as of how this goes. iOS 19, iOS 26, I don't care. Although, honestly, I would prefer they call it iOS 25 because it's coming out in the year 2025. I hate that the auto industry does the same thing where, oh, no, this is the next generation car. This is the 2026 model. Despite that, it's not even 2026 yet. So we're getting you into the future. The future's here, everyone. I cannot stand this. I just can't. So I would have preferred they call it iOS 25 if they were going to start basing it off of year release. That's just me, but I'm genuinely really indifferent about the name. I don't care what they call it. I just want to be able to make phone calls without restarting the stupid thing every single time.
That's a valid point. For after this change, it's this is going to be all painful changes when after a while we'll get used to it, but this is just something that I'm not sure is necessary.
Oh, the whole redesign's completely unnecessary.
Yeah, and the whole numbering scheme is completely unnecessary because this is even more useless than the Gulf of America rebrand. Yes, I'm bringing that in because I don't know what other rebrand to bring in.
Twitter and X.
Or this is this is a relevant one. Twitter to X, this is X. No one calls it X now, and it's been X for almost 2 years.
I still call it Twitter to this day.
Same.
It's just goofy. But yeah, ultimately the name does not matter. It's just, give me something that actually works. Oh, there have been so many times where I kind of want to put my SIM in this, not gonna lie. Because now that we've gotten to the point where I can't make a phone call without restarting my phone, this is just, it's a phone, for crying out loud.
Furthermore, all iOS versions are buggiest can have their own little weird quirks and kinks. Like iOS, the .0 versions of iOS, they're always kind of buggy. That's more buggy like the .0 versions. That's normal. But typically by this point in May after the WWDC, typically by this point the versions of iOS get very stable, and it doesn't sound like iOS 18 is getting more stable.
I assure you it hasn't. Tabby, how's your experience been?
For iOS 8,
iOS 18 has been absolutely horrible these last few weeks.
Start listing bugs. We need to hear them. Oh.
I don't even know where to start. CarPlay has been absolutely horrible. My keyboard will randomly disappear at random times. My rotation lock, it'll get stuck in landscape mode.
Yep, I get that problem too.
Camera app is slow. The whole entire phone will get slow a lot of the times. Stuff will just not send. Just every annoying problem. And it's really gotten me to the point where I am considering either going to the Pixel 9 or the 15 Pro again, because my 15 Pro is still on 17, but I'm going to see what happens. I don't really want to switch, but they're really not giving me that much of a choice when the phone is not really working right, you know?
Yeah. I mean, do you get that bug where you try to make a phone call and it just immediately displays call failed, try again?
I haven't gotten that one yet. But
okay, I get that
would make me switch
all
phones.
the time.
Wow.
In fact, I'm not... There is one thing that I'm not sure of, though. You bring up how all the time these things have their baseband failures. If the baseband fails, does that mean you will never be able to make a phone call again?
Yes.
For the most part, yes, but if it's on the verge of failing, a lot of the times you'll see internet-related issues first.
Okay, I do not have
Wi-Fi,
that.
cellular.
Yeah, I don't have that. My Wi-Fi and cellular is working just fine. It's just it refuses to make a phone call without me restarting it.
Yeah.
So it's not the baseband. Okay. So the hardware is still good. The problem is the stupid iOS 18. I hate it.
I mean, let's face it, all of these tiny little things add up to be one big problem. That's what they teach you in elementary school, I'm pretty sure. When you teach you math. Get it.
You're assuming they're teaching these days.
I mean, I was technically taught math in elementary school.
No, I don't think they teach you that small things add up these days anymore, because Apple's been putting up, oh, these bugs, yeah, we don't need to touch them. It's not that bad. Just just small little quirks here and there. It's like they've been doing this for how many years now, and look where we've gotten. We've gotten to the point where I legit cannot make phone calls anymore.
And you know what else I'm going to say? Mac OS has been driving me insane these last few weeks. That I am on... I am on the verge of just finding a way to make my phone replace my computer. Because in the last week alone... So one, the Mac Studio's gone for good. I'm trading it in as soon as I can. That thing got me so pissed off this one night that I ripped it out of the setup, threw it on a table, put my MacBook Pro in. But here's the issue with my MacBook Pro right now. It's showing its age. And I don't think that it's because of the processor. I think it's because I've used this computer so heavily that the SSD, the processor, everything that's kind of degrading over time is showing its wear. Because keep in mind, I've used this computer very heavily for just about everything for coming up on 2 years. To the point where now I am starting to see issues where I am heavily considering taking a lot of money and putting it into a high-spec 14-inch M4 Max MacBook Pro. But here's the thing. That's a lot of money. I'm not trying to put another $2,000 into a computer. I'm really not, and that's after trade-in values of the MacBook Pro and the Mac Studio. And also, I think a computer should last longer than 2 years. Yeah, it's a professionally used machine. I've used this for Final Cut, Photoshop, all the above. I've also used it for school. I'm using it right now. I've used it for, everything. And it's to the point where none of my computers at this point besides the M4 Mac Mini, but that's a whole different thing. None of my, professional computers are doing what I need them to. And it's driving me crazy because, honestly, if it's up to me, I would rather put $2,000 into my car than $2,000 into a computer any day. I'm done with putting so much money into computers that are only going to last me a year or two. And it's driving me crazy, absolutely crazy, that I've had this computer that's been flawless, and then out of nowhere, issues. The Mac Studio, I always expected issues on that thing. You guys have seen that since I got it. Okay, that thing, I've basically said at this point, that's a loss of my money. That thing, that's just my loss. I can't do much about it. The MacBook Pro, it's funny to me because I've had this computer for so long that I got this thing before I even got my driver's license.
Right.
I remember I drove to the Apple store in my permit with my dad. So it's like this thing has seen so many different eras. But it's like out of nowhere, it just has all these issues like that. And it makes me think it's like doing? I can't go to Windows because obvious reasons. What?
Yeah. What is your MacBook actually doing?
Final Cut just freezes up. Photoshop freezes up. Safari, everything just like freezes up. And it's not like just like a kernel panic or anything. It's just slowness, like something that I'd expect to see out of like a 10-year-old computer.
Yeah, that is
showing so much age. And I have a feeling it's SSD related. Because your computers, or well, Alpha, your computer hasn't been having any, slowness issues from what I've heard, right?
No, I mean, occasionally I'll get an odd Final Cut slowdown, but that's because I'm, like, working on it. It only happens when I'm working on a real big project. So.
Yeah. But it's like, Teddy, yours is newer than mine, of course, but you've had no slowness issues or anything, right? Your computer's been
No, the only slow... So there's two things I want to say. Number one, my computer hasn't really been... The only time my MacBook ever slows down is, weirdly enough, when I'm adding text to my videos in Final Cut Pro. Then weirdly it slows down, but usually, but then it weirdly slows down. But I think it's a Final Cut thing. But I mean, I understand your point about not wanting to put $2,000 into a computer every 1 or 2 years, since I bought this MacBook with the intention that I'm going in late 2023 with the intention of upgrading it in 2027.
Right.
So I want it to work for most of that time.
Have you thought about a potential SSD replacement?
Potentially, because there's also another issue with the MacBook Pro that's been driving me crazy lately, but this wasn't an issue before. So, remember when I water damaged it about a year and a half ago?
Mm-hmm.
Or a year ago.
I do.
Nothing on the motherboard was damaged, right? Didn't reach the motherboard. Only the trackpad. Now, I was like, okay, I'm really lucky about that. I've never water damaged a computer before that, but then that happened. And, unfortunately, when I took it for repair, Apple did what they do best, and they messed up, and they broke my microphone. So I don't have a microphone on this thing. Which means if I wanted to do FaceTime, I would have to use continuity camera for the iPhone.
They should have repaired that for free then.
Well, they probably would, if I asked.
Yeah, that's... They should have repaired the microphone
Sorry, my
for
mom
free.
came in.
Oh, alright.
Sorry, my mom came in. But, if I asked them to, I am 100% sure they would replace the microphone, repair it. But the thing is, this is a computer that I rely on every day. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of hard for me to be without this computer for a week while they mess with it and ship it off to their Texas facility for repairs. So it's like, I want to, but then also I have the anxiety of what if they mess something else up while they're in there.
That's valid.
And it's like, to me, the microphone wasn't a big issue because continuity camera, that's fine.
That's
my iPhone's microphone is fine. Funny thing, this relates to what we were talking about earlier. iOS 18 no longer functions with continuity camera on my phone. So that's out of the question. I still use my 15 Pro a lot though, right? The 15 Pro is like always around.
Mm-hmm.
Except for right now, of course. Right now it's like, oh wait, never mind, it's right next to me right now. So I was like, okay, iOS 17 comes to the rescue. Yeah, Same exact issue.
That's weird because like when I initially got my iPhone 14 Pro, I used to use continuity camera all the time with my. Hang on, let me grab it. Back when I was still using this 2019 MacBook Pro, I used to use continuity camera all the time, which therefore I got slightly better video quality, or slightly better looking video, even though well, sometimes these episodes are at 720p anyway. But ever since I got this MacBook for my 2023 MacBook Pro, as a result, continuity camera completely stopped working on my iPhone 14 Pro, and the fact that my current MacBook has such a good webcam, I just gave up using continuity camera. Which is actually why, like, my episodes now look a lot different than they did at the end of Season 2 and early in Season 3.
Yeah, I've heard that the continuity camera thing was a common bug with iOS 18, which, weirdly enough, mine is still working. In fact, that's what's giving you my camera angle right now, because if I were to change it, let's see, camera to the FaceTime cam, you get this angle. This is the FaceTime cam. The viewers can't see that because OBS is not seeing it, but...
yeah.
But, yeah, as you can see, continuity camera is still working for me, which is very strange. And it does work with both devices. I've tested it. But, yeah, despite that continuity camera works, I still can't make phone calls.
Yeah, for my initial theory on why continuity camera wouldn't work is I thought that the iOS version and the macOS versions would have to be aligned.
You know what, honestly,
they might have to.
I think it's a bug on the macOS side. I'm not positive, but I think it is.
No, I think it could be a hardware issue. It could be my my Bluetooth chip going out or something like that.
Do you have issues with your Magic Mouse?
Which would just be another... No, I'm using it right now just fine. I've never really had any issues with it. It's really weird to me because I've never had any issues with this computer. I mean, you guys have heard me talk about just how amazing it's been for the last, year and a half of ownership, and almost 2 years now. But
how it's been the complete opposite of the Mac Studio, which died during the season. What's the season 3 or season 4 premiere of TIFP? I think it was 3.
I think it would have been 3.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while since that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, because the beginning of season 4 have been recorded on this MacBook, and I know it wasn't. So yeah, it was 3.
Yeah, but I've been you guys know I don't have like a typical job, right? But I have been making, quite a decent bit, actually doing resale with Elias, right? It's a kind of complicated situation, but I'm getting paid commission to list stuff on eBay for him, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not like it's at this point. I could go and I could buy a Mac, right? I could say, I'm just going to take the money, just take the hit, just buy it. But then my issue becomes, I can also take that money and I could buy car parts, or I could just put it somewhere that's going to be, better used, because at the end of the day, I like this MacBook Pro a lot. This has been the greatest computer I've ever owned, and I don't want to see it go. And honestly, what happens in 2 years when I have to do the same thing over again?
Exactly. By that point, in a few years, another thing that you'll probably have to start considering is like saving up to move out.
Right, and it's like, it's not like I'm at the point. Also, Alpha, I like your shirt. I just noticed that. Is that a Rascal Flatts shirt?
Yep, Rascal Flatts. I got this when I went.
I just noticed that. That is awesome.
Yep, I went to that concert in Green Bay.
Oh man, that's awesome. But anyways, that's besides the point. What I was saying, I don't want to have to buy a new computer. I really don't. I feel like there's so many, better ways that I could spend my money. And 2022, 2023, I could get away with just saying, all right, yeah, I'm just going to put all my money into tech, because that was my main focus. I was doing really well off of resale, really well with eBay, but I didn't have a car. I didn't have anything else to put my money into. It's like, to me,
Same.
I could afford to do this stuff. But now, I just, I dropped money on the exhaust, and I feel like I would much rather have something that's going to improve my car than something that's going to be necessary for my office, basically. Because everything that I put into my car, that's basically like my hobby. That's I don't know how to describe it. That's all fun.
Yeah.
But at this point, it doesn't feel like buying new tech is fun at this point. It feels like more of a chore. I'm going to try and keep my Apple Watch until it doesn't, do what I need it to do. But right now, the battery on that thing is going bad too. So I'm like, come on.
I'm not that far off of a situation from you, by the way. Because I'm juggling between two phones here. One that doesn't make phone calls and has terrible battery. The other has a charge port that doesn't work half the time, so I can't use CarPlay with it.
Yeah.
The MacBook is literally my only device. The MacBook and my iPad are literally the only two devices that I have working just fine. The Apple Watch really scratched up, and it's still in work mode. Why are you still in work mode? I'm not at the office.
That's another thing with the Apple Watch. My watch will randomly go into random modes.
Yeah.
But it's like, at this point, I'm hoping that my slowness issues are going to get fixed by a software update. I know I have an update pending. I just haven't had the, time to restart, because then I'd lose my Photoshop progress unless I save it, all that.
Oh, yeah.
But I just haven't wanted to save it. But, man, the battery health on my Mac, let me actually check this, because I know that it is tanked.
I know mine.
Okay.
Mine's not anywhere near as good either.
Try and guess what the battery health is. Keep in mind, I got the top case replaced for that water damage thing in last June. So 11
and that
months
came with
in,
a new battery?
Guess the battery health. It did.
Okay, I'm going to guess 11 months ago. I'm going to guess, knowing how you are when it comes to battery wear and such, I'm going to guess 85%.
I can also say I have 141 cycles. What do you think, Teddy?
96.
Okay. 87%.
Wow. That's bad.
And the actual health,
Dang,
actual health is 82.
My battery health I don't have coconut battery on my Mac to actually check like the actual health, but my MacBook still has 95% of its battery capacity.
And yours is way older than mine.
No, mine's newer than yours.
But I had to get the top case
my
replacement.
battery is older than yours, yeah.
Mine's at 87%. But I have a larger battery.
So basically, in 11 months, coming up on a year now, in about a week and a half, I have put as much wear on this computer as you guys have put on yours in respectively 1.5 and 3, coming up on 3 years now? Or coming
I
up
bought
on 4?
mine in 2022.
1, 2,
so I am over 3 years at this point.
Yeah, so I don't mind the battery, because at the end of the day, I'm always near an outlet. And if not, I have a good power bank.
Even with its degradation, dude, it's still better battery life than you're getting on any Windows laptop.
This thing would be better than any Windows laptop with 80% battery health.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly. Because I guess while we're checking battery life for my other devices, my iPad has a battery health at my iPad Mini 7 after using it since October of 2024. It has a battery health of 98 now.
My iPhone is 92%.
And my iPhone 14 Pro's. My iPhone's starting to tank. I will
What's
say
it at,
that.
like 88?
My iPhone now is 93. No, mine's at 93.
Mine's at 92. My 16 Pro. My 15 Pro is 87.
Any guesses for the XS Max?
74.
80.
77.
No, it's gotta be 77.
Wait, what is it?
What?
77% battery health. Though that's with.
Wow.
I got it right.
Yeah, it really
My
wants
Apple
me
Watch
to
is
service it
97
though.
too, or 87. Yeah, my
Makes
Apple Watch
sense.
is
For my
87.
iPhone 10 is 80.
Oh, I have no clue what mine's
My
at.
iPhone 10 used to have 8. My iPhone 10 it used to have 80% battery health, and it begged me to service it then. But let me go to settings and check. But do you want to guess what my Apple Watch is at?
I'm gonna guess 83.
Unlock it.
75.
Mine is 86, and I've owned my Apple Watch Series 7 for a little over 2 years now.
I'm
Half a
at
year is
84.
85. Wow.
Yeah, my watch is at 84. And I notice it more with the watch.
So,
I think these numbers are too generous because the battery life feels shorter than that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, the battery
because...
life is definitely starting.
Hmm?
You talk.
Oh, I was gonna say this. So you guys know how I upgraded my watch exactly 2 years after I got it. So the Series 7 to the Series 9 in December of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So my Series 7 was at 80%. 80% in 2023. Right? And
Yeah,
it's crazy because you guys have
yours
Series
was
7s
bad.
too. And I'm only wondering, if I kept that, what would it be at? Like 60? Because
Well,
it just kept going down and down and down. It's like...
The weird thing is, normally batteries have a degradation in terms of their degradation rate, where you'll get an initial drop, but then that rate at which it drops slows down. So
it's just weird to me because, like, my current watch being at 87 is really annoying because 7 months from now, what's it going to be? Is it going to be 80 again like my last one? And I've taken really good care of this battery. Always optimize battery charging. You know, never, you know, I've basically done everything
I'm
to
surprised
make
you turned
this
that
work.
on.
Sorry?
I'm surprised you kept that on because I know you hate optimized battery charging.
I feel like it's a little bit different on the watch because you can't replace the battery versus, well, you can, but you're not replacing the Apple Watch battery.
yeah, no,
Versus, like,
good
a
luck with
MacBook where
that.
I have to. I've done it on MacBooks before for Elias. It's hard, but if it's a needed repair, I can do it. And also the watch you can't use while you charge it. Well, you're not going to.
Not easily, at least.
Yeah. Tried doing that one time with my original Apple Watch. Did not go too well.
It makes me wonder. Oh, I should tell you
I
guys
actually
about
sometimes
something
use
that
my
I got
Apple Watch when
recently.
charging it.
What's up?
What is it?
I gotta remember where I put it. Shouldn't be that far from here. Where did I put it? You guys talk while I look for it.
Okay. I'm looking
Here it
for a
is.
new Apple Watch face
What?
because I've been wanting something that has a little bit less going on.
I've used the same Apple Watch face since 20. Oh yes, you did get an iFixit toolkit to upgrade your Mac's RAM, or
nice.
to upgrade your XPS's RAM.
And you know what it includes?
That's cool.
Hey,
What?
The Penelope driver bits. So now
yeah.
makes sense.
I can open up my MacBook, my iPhone 5C that is begging for a new display, my iPhone 5S that needs a new home button.
Right. You can go crazy.
Yeah, I have a feeling when it comes time for an actual battery replacement being required from my MacBook, I'm probably just going to do it myself.
Yeah.
I mean that makes sense because bigger things are easier to work on. But I also got this Quinn tool set for my Quinn device repair tool set, which is like an iFixit competitor for Christmas. And this is a Harbor Freight brand.
Looks really similar.
Yeah, I'll show you on the inside what it includes, but I haven't actually taken a good look at this, but yeah, this is basically a knockoff iFixit kit that I have, but I also don't fix electronics very much, but I'm sure this one has Penelope.
I initially
Realize
thought
my
about
watch is
Great upgrade
behind a
for my-
few seconds.
Oh,
What were you
that's
saying
odd.
though?
I was initially thinking about getting like the Linus Tech Tip screwdriver because I hear it really is a nice high quality screwdriver, and because it has bit storage built into the handle, it would take up so much less space than having a whole box kit like this. Problem is, they want $69 for it, because of course Linus wants $69 for it.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, meanwhile, this kit cost me $30 at Walmart. But yes, you can get iFixit kits at Walmart, I guess.
I noticed that a few weeks ago.
Yep, Walmart's trying to get into like the PC enthusiast space where
They sell SSD repair kits. They sold SSD repair kits for, or SATA SSD upgrade kits for computers for like 3 years now.
Yeah.
Yep, and they're selling SODIMM memory, though not the... At least my Walmart isn't selling the DDR5. That's why I still had to order mine from Amazon, but... yeah, they're getting into, like, the PC enthusiast space.
Next time I go to Walmart, I'll have to actually check that. Because when I went to Walmart recently to go get supply kit or supplies or things I need for my trip to Europe, I didn't really look at the electronics space very much, but I should have.
Yeah. Rob is also going to Europe.
Nice.
I need to go at some point.
What countries is he? Actually, no, I won't ask that.
Hmm?
But do you guys ever plan to go to Europe?
If I have the ability to one day, I will. But
Oh yeah, I got plenty of places I'd like to visit in Europe. I want to visit London. I want to visit Paris. I have to go to the Nürburgring. I just have to.
oh yeah.
Same.
Maybe
like,
one day me and Alpha
my parents
will meet
will
up
let
and
me
go
do
there.
one of those school.
Yeah, we'll have to book a flight together, meet up in Germany or something.
Oh yeah. Rent
Well,
out
we haven't all
911s.
even met each other in real life yet, so.
I feel like me and Alpha, he would rent out a Model S Plaid. I would rent out like a Taycan Turbo S.
Actually,
And
I
we
probably
just-
would do a Taycan, but no. Now that you mention it, Model S versus Taycan, that would be an interesting comparison.
We would tear up the Autobahn.
Oh,
No, I get like my parents actually. My mom, when she was initially looking at the school trips I could have done, she initially asked me if I wanted to do a Germany one, but the one for Germany that my school offered would have been just going to places like the Holocaust Museum and just checking out things for classical music.
Yeah.
But the problem is that I don't want to go to Germany for that stuff. I like classical music, but I don't. Well, if I go to show you guys my Apple Music library, you're not going to find any classical music.
You'll never catch me listening to classical music while I'm driving or anything.
Same. I was just listening to George Strait while I was driving because he has a new album.
It's like whenever I'm driving, I'm not trying to listen to something that I feel like Albert Einstein would have listened to while he was making whatever he made. Forgot what that guy did.
The nuclear bomb. But as you can tell by what I have on my Apple Music library, is any of this? I know you guys probably don't know all this stuff, but does any of this look like classical music?
Do you have like a playlist that you use, or just like general like library?
I just have an Apple Music library, but
Ooh, I see All American Rejects in there.
yeah, I only
see
have one
Outkast.
song by them.
I think I saw something
Yes,
Creed.
only one of theirs. Yes, I have
you have
two
Linkin
Creed
Park in there.
songs. Yeah, I have 3 Linkin Parks. The first, I have Linkin Park's New Divide, which is from the Transformers movie, and that's probably one of my favorite songs by them. I have
In the End.
which is another one of my favorites by them, and then the Numb is the other one I have.
Probably like Numb, maybe. Maybe Faint.
What'd you ask? No, it's like Numb is like the name of the song by Linkin Park,
Oh yeah.
or a song by Linkin Park that I have.
That
But
one's
this is
good.
just other. This is other stuff I have.
Mr. Brightside.
Yeah, that's a great song.
I see Creed in there.
Yeah.
Simple Plan.
Yeah, Simple Plan's One thing that always strikes me as interesting about Simple Plan is that even
Pennsylvania.
though they're from Quebec, they sing in England, or they sing in English.
Yeah.
Yeah, since
Oh,
you
you
been gone,
have
it's a great
Take
song.
Me Out. I've been listening to that song a lot today, actually.
That song is so. That song, I have Franz Fernandez, the name of the band. They also have another newer song called Love Illumination that's even better in my opinion, but
Yeah. Oh, Who Says You Can't Go Home? That one's good.
yeah, I'm sorry.
I see
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
just
Taylor
all the
Swift
stuff
in
I
there,
have.
too. A lot of her older stuff.
Yeah, her older
The older
her
stuff
older
was
music.
good.
I like her older music.
The older stuff was good.
Yeah, her older stuff is so good.
Newer stuff I can't get into personally. But that's just me.
Same. Her latest album made me want to cry because it was just so sad.
I have not listened to it.
Don't.
Don't.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, I keep realizing my music library is not very expansive, and it's because me being an audiophile and just me being me, I know what I like, and I like to stick with it. But you'll find a lot of Rascal Flatts, for obvious reasons.
I only have one of their songs, which is I Like the Sound of That. I need to listen to more of their songs.
You should know Life is a Highway. You should know that one.
Everyone does.
I know that. I do know that one, yes.
Oh, they got so many popular hits. I Like the Sound of That. Life is a Highway.
Mayberry.
Mayberry, yep.
I don't know that one.
You don't know Mayberry. That's a popular one. Praying for Daylight.
I don't know that one either.
Fast Cars and Freedom.
I don't know that one
Yeah.
either. Another one I don't know.
God Bless the Broken Road.
Yeah. Another one I don't know.
Oh, dude, you need to start listening to more Rascal Flatts then.
Yeah, I do listen to a lot of country music, but I guess I should. But I think the problem is that if you if you look at all the, I'll actually show you like if I go to genres, like if you go to country, like most of the stuff is like for the previous millennium. There's some exceptions, but
A lot of the stuff that I listen to is just like old alternative rock stuff. Like
I love old alternative rock.
I mean, you name almost any 2000s alt rock song, and I will know it. I see MCR.
Yeah,
I
these
see
are all
Fall
the
Out Boy, All Time Low.
These are all the alternative albums I have.
All American Rejects, The White Stripes.
Yeah, if I'm not
Yes.
listening to country music, I'm actually listening to more acoustic. So generally more folk stuff.
I find acoustic and folk music to be boring, but that's just...
It depends on what kind of.
Yeah. Well, see, this is where my audiophile ear comes in, where I hate fake sound. I hate fake instruments. I hate synthesized stuff. I really despise it.
Wow.
I care about having the real actual
Wow,
sound.
I guess...
It's one of the reasons why the organ at my church that I play, all of the instruments that it has, it's not synthesized stuff. It is real recordings of people actually playing the real instrument. You hear a violin? No, it's not a synthesized violin. It's a real person playing a violin. Same with the flute, same with the bells, same with every voice on that organ. It is all real stuff, which is a big reason why it cost $80,000.
Makes sense now, and there's some of this. There's a lot of stuff there's some stuff on my Apple Music library that you would definitely hate. Then in that case, because I know you would. Well, I know you'd probably hate 2000s rock, and you would also most of it, and I know you would you'd hate Muse, that's for sure.
Who?
Muse, or Alpha would not like Muse.
I don't know. I feel like Muse does kind of have that more natural sound. It depends, because I feel like he wouldn't like...
Yeah, if I listen to
some of
rock,
the
I
all-time
listen to
low
more
stuff.
classic rock, like Beatles, Elton John.
Oh, I need to add some Elton John's music. Speaking of
Neil Diamond.
I've been meaning to do.
And so...
Also, I need to
I don't
head
listen-
out here
I
in
don't
the next
listen-
few minutes. I'm going to go get some dinner.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, I guess shall I go ahead and finish recording, or shall we go ahead and finish this episode then? Because we don't have anything else to talk about.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's up to you guys.
I don't have much else to talk about, and apparently I'm missing out on Drew's live stream at the moment. He's streaming another editing video again.
All right. So we can all get back to that stuff, so I can head back outside. As always, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the iTunes Fan Podcast. And as always, I'm Teddy Magro from the iTunes Fanboy.
I am TC Tech.
And my name is Alpha DeWolf from the Random Alpha.
And we hope you all have a very good day or night, depending on when you're tuning into this. And we will see you in season 5, which will be really no different.
Of course.
As we don't even have guests scheduled. But without further ado, peace out, everyone.
See ya.